I have been keeping this a secret for so long, and I am so excited to finally get to tell you all about it. Hi there, my name's Nicole Wilbur, and on my YouTube channel, we talk out loud and think out loud about story. I am a YA author. I signed with an agent last year. I'm working on my next book, lots of stuff going on. And about 2 weeks ago, I left my job and moved to Australia. Asterisk, temporarily. Both of those things are actually temporary. So let's talk about this because I think there are a lot of people on YouTube who will talk about how they quit their full time job and became a writer full time and woo. And actually, that was what I was going to do, at least for a period of time. I was looking at part time work options, I was looking at consulting, and I was looking at basically a change, right? So I am a computer engineer. I work in tech in my day job, and then I write in YouTube and do all of the things on the side. I also am a digital nomad for the past almost 5 years, which is insane. Um, Meaning I have lived and worked in many, many different countries, probably 20 something countries, since August of 2021 when I started traveling. So I don't pay rent anywhere. I don't have a car. I don't have a home base. I do keep stuff with my parents, um, and go back and visit them. But I don't have any of those trappings of life. However, I've recently been feeling, not recently, up to since fall of 2024, I've been feeling a little unsatisfied with where I am. Like I am trying to do so many things that none of them are getting done the way I want them to. And also that there are things in my life that I cannot do when I'm moving locations every month. Things like building an in person community, although I do have a community that I travel with, which is a godsend. I wouldn't be doing it still without them. But joining a choir. I love theater and I love writing plays. I'm trying to get better at it. But to, have a play, do a workshop of a play, for example, it's helpful if you're in an area where you can get to know the art scene and you can meet some fun people to collaborate with. And again, if you move every single month, not so easy to do. So I started thinking about what I wanted to do next. And I will be honest, the idea of quitting completely was on the table. But I ended up really thinking it through. And then I had a really lovely conversation with my work, and we ended up negotiating 10 weeks off. So I am off from end of April through the beginning of July, which in some ways feels like too little. But I think it should be a good amount. And I always have the option, right, to change my mind and to, adjust as needed. But this is the 10-week period I have where I am not working my full time job at all. And it's very exciting. Then there is the moved to Australia portion. So I get to say moved because I did sign a lease. It was for 4 months, but I did sign a lease, which I haven't done again since 2021. I haven't been in a place long enough to actually sign a lease, just, like Airbnb and hotels and all that stuff. So this is very exciting to me. I went to the library and I got to show them my little lease document and I was like, it's proof of address. And they gave me a library card in Melbourne. So cool. I actually have some friends who live down here, and I very excitingly moved into one of the rooms that they had. And I'm loving it. It's a great arrangement. It's in a great part of the city. It's so cool, so pretty, and we're having a great time. So that kind of brings me to the thing I want to talk about, which is what is the point of this 10 weeks off, this 10 weeks of living the dream, I suppose, of being a full time writer and content creator? Well, it's a hard one. It's a hard one because I am torn between wanting to rest and to lie in bed. Not really lie in bed, more like lie in the sun. It's supposed to be getting cold here soon, but it's been so lovely so far. It's been so nice. And so I just go and I find little patches of sun and I read books in the sun, and it's going great. I mean, you can see I'm wearing a sundress today, so it's not cold out. Not yet anyways. and wanting to like the joke that I keep saying to my friends is most people will take a long chunk of time off work to travel, and I am taking a long time chunk off of work explicitly to not travel. But then another one of my friends was like, you realize you're traveling because you don't live in Australia. So anyway, it's weird, but I'm taking time off work to be in one spot for a long period of time to try to get some of those connections and stuff. So let's talk about all of the things that are happening during this time. So first of all, there is writing, of course. And I actually have done very little actual writing on my project. No, so I do need to get into editing, and we're working on the third draft of this book. It's so funny because I keep pausing and being like, wait, how do you revise a book again? I have some great feedback from my critique partner, and I kind of have to figure out what I'm doing, which probably requires me to reread the thing and start my own list of things to change. And I think I'm going to start that next week. A part of me has been holding off because I'm waiting to hear on something else that could totally disrupt my schedule and change what I'm working on. But I think it's more or less that other thing is not happening, so I can now focus fully on the Nutcracker effect, which is great, great, great news. And because I would like to have a third draft of that there. The other thing I've been thinking about a lot this year is plays. And I talked about this in my New Year's kind of resolution goal thing. I love theater. And it occurred to me that you can, like, I have money. I can hire people for like an afternoon to workshop a play with me, like a short one. Like get a director and an actor or two for a couple hours and be in a room and workshop it. Like that is something that people do that I thankfully have the capability of doing, and I don't need somebody else to approve me for that. I mean, it would be great, but I don't need it. So that was an exciting realization. And I vaguely would like to do that at the end of my time. So at the end of June, which requires me to have a play I want to workshop. So I have one from I have a couple actually that are kind of floating around from my summer in Oxford from before that. And I've just started working on a couple new ones here. So that kind of requires getting them in decent shape, and making them feel like they're kind of done. And then there's lots of sort of recruiting and stuff that's needed around that. So that is kind of my goal. It's very scary. It terrifies me. The idea of trying to get people to say my words and having to listen to them do so. I have no idea what I'm doing at all. But that's okay. That's totally fine. We're flying by the seat of our pants, and that's amazing, right? Other things, there is something I can't tell you about yet, but I'm going to hopefully be able to tell you about very, very soon. I just need to finish it before I can talk about it, and I'm so excited. It's the most terrifying thing I've ever done. It scares me even more than the play thing, to be honest, because it's more visible. But I am really hoping I can announce it really soon, and that has been taking up a lot of effort. Like most of the work I've done has been on that thing, so we're getting there. We're getting there with what needs to happen, and I'm very, very excited to talk about that when it comes. And along with that thing, I have like all of these plans for really cool content that I want to do that I'm just like, I have to finish this thing and then I can do the content. You know how brains work. At the same time, I've also been trying to lean into those community and things I can't do when I'm traveling areas. So I found a ballet class that I really like during the day. I joined a performance class that has a performance in early July, right before I go back to work, of commercial dance. So we spend like 8 weeks, I think it is, learning this dance routine, and then we perform it at a concert, which is going to be so exciting. There's also an opening number I signed up to learn that I'm like excited to do too. I also went to, just this week, a local choir, and I have an audition for an auditioned choir too in a couple weeks that I'm very nervous about, but my dates for being in Melbourne fit perfectly within their full term. So I'm really, really hoping that works out. I've been going to there's a practice studio they have here that you can just go to, rent out for a small fee an hour, and have access to a beautiful grand piano. and just like sing, and it's soundproof. And so I've been going and trying to remember how to sing there. I'm doing an acting workshop. I also have a couple little trips booked. I think I might do this big choir thing in Sydney where you get to sing at the Sydney Opera House. So we are busy. We are we are busy, busy, busy. We're trying to make the absolute most of it. And there's a lot going on, but there's a lot of really exciting things happening and coming as well. I really hope I will have a revision vlog for you next week. But yes, any questions you have if you're interested in doing something like a Q&A, or if you have anything you're interested in hearing about with this whole like taking a leave of absence to be creative type thing, please put your questions down below. I would love to hear if you've ever done anything like this and what kind of sabbaticals other people might have arranged or figured out to give themselves a little bit more time to lean into their creative passions. I'm Nicole Wilbur. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week with another video.